I am Arvind, BW trainer with Big Classes. I have around 8 years of SAP BW work experience. I am currently based out in Hyderabad, and I have around 3.5 years of online training experience, as well as corporate training and classroom training. So I do work presently as well, and in my non-working hours, I take up this trainings. Let's try to understand what is ERP and what is SAP. ERP is nothing but it's kind of a computerized package by using which a company can maintain a central transaction system. Now, without an ERP environment, there are a lot of departments within a company, like sales, inventory, finance. Each department would use an individual software for maintaining transactions earlier, couple of years back. So what is the drawback when each department maintains an individual software? The drawback is central availability, real-time availability of data across the other departments. Mean by integration of the data, like let's say I'm doing something in the sales, it will hit the finance. Likewise, I'm doing something in the warehousing, it will hit the finance. But in an non-ERP environment, it is not hitting it. All the sales transactions are limited to sales. The corresponding finance entries are not hitting over there. Okay, so this is the main drawback. Like for example, they are purchasing some products from the vendors. The vendor will deliver the goods to the inventory team. After delivering the goods, obviously the inventory team will give the vendor a receipt saying that goods delivered. So the vendor should take the receipt to the finance team, and over there he can collect the payment. So this, what is happening is, earlier without the ERP environment, the vendor, when he goes to the finance team will cross check with the inventory team what is the status of it, whether they have actually done the collected it or not, and all that. But now, once the ERP application is implemented, it's a computerized package. The moment entry is made in the inventory, corresponding entry hits the finance saying that so and so amount is payable to vendor. So now when the vendor goes to the finance team, says that I need a payment of this based on the slip. So then just cross check with all the entry in the corresponding finance, and then he not call the inventory team. So in that way, the integration of data is helping so that less interactions, manual interactions happen across the departments. And now the data is available real time. Earlier, without an ERP environment, either daily end of the day status needs to be sent across the departments, that so and so is the current stock in inventory, so and so is the current employee strength, permanent workers, contract employees, and all that. But now everything is real time. Need not send all the details. That information is visible across the departments. So is this clear about what is ERP, Kamini?
Yeah.
Okay. So we will have some basic session after this, like wherein I can give you more information individually on the other basic stuff. Okay. As of now, I just want to give a brief overview so that I cover mainly the BW requirement part.
Okay.
So when a company is going for a software, they have a lot of choices. Just like for operating system, we have Windows and Mac. Similarly, for purchasing an ERP product, there are a lot of vendors available. So one of the vendors is SAP, Oracle, PeopleSoft, Dynamics, Siebel, and a lot of all the vendors are there. So out of this, SAP is the most popular one. The reason is they are providing a solution for almost all the departments. Now let's say I am a manager in any company who is willing to invest in this ERP software. So what would you suggest? Like for finance, I take Oracle, and for inventory, again, I take Oracle because it's the best for individual finance module, and it's coming for little lesser maintenance cost and license fee. Fine, but what about inventory? Oracle might not have the inventory module covered. So again, for it, I may have to go with one more vendor, right? So is it better to have bits and pieces or a single vendor covering all the departments? What would you suggest?
SAP vendor covering all the departments.
Right. So that is where, like, when if you are in charge of purchasing a software, that your guidelines would be, let's go for a single vendor who covers all the departments. That is where SAP is scoring compared to all the other vendors, providing a solution for more than 100 plus modules or departments, you can say, and even industry specific solutions also it is providing. Like if you are from a banking, you need not purchase a product and customize for it. They have just made a product customized for banking directly. Likewise for retail, oil and gas. So that is the benefit with SAP. Okay, so now let's say a company has purchased the ERP product from SAP. So what will happen now? Everyone in the organization would be given some training on how to use this ERP product for making the transactions. Okay, let's say we have the purchasing team or the sales team. All the purchase orders and sales orders will now be captured via this application. So everyone will log. We have this application. We create this application will be hosted on a central server, and it has a central database layer as well. And you have the server parameters, and you can connect to it. So once you connect to it, you need to give the user ID, password. And this is how you log into the application. Okay. Once you log into the application, earlier the transactions were processed in individual applications for each area, but now all of them will use the same application. So how come everyone can log into the same application? Just because authorizations are put in place. So a sales team cannot do any finance transaction, likewise a purchasing team cannot do any HR related transactions in that way. So let's say a purchasing team is there. They open it and start creating a purchase order. So for everything they will have some transaction codes over here based on which they will do the transaction. So they just do the So as a functional team, business team, they are aware of all the boxes, like what is purchasing organization, company code and all that. So they do all that entries, and they are trained in this, how to make use of this tool. And once they have made all the entry, their only task would be to just click on save. Okay, so let's just they click on save. What does happen when they click on save? A purchase order will get created. Okay, this is how the application is and how they use it. So when the purchase order is created, is it created on the individual system where the transaction took place, or is it creating on a central database where exactly it falls?
Database.
Central database. So this system is also called as, this transaction system is also called as a ECC, because ERP central component. Central component means you have a common database. Every application is every department is using the same application. You do some sales transactions, inventory, purchasing, everything is falling into the central database. That's why it's called as ECC, ERP central component. Okay. So, or it is also called as an R3. R3 means architecture. As I just mentioned, that it has 3 layers: presentation, application, and database. So these 3 layers are the reason behind the name R3. So either as per their anyone's comfort levels, they either call it as an R3 module or as an ERP, SAP ECC. So as you can see over here, this application will be hosted on a central server. You have a central database, but whereas this, everyone can access this because a GUI, the GUI, will be installed on each of the local systems, and as you have the server parameters, you make an entry in this and you just connect to this and do the transaction. So at any moment, multiple people can connect to this application and parallelly do their transactions like sales, purchasing, finance. All the teams can work together. Okay. So this is how the transactions are happening. So when it is falling into a database, can you tell me any common database which may be used for this SAP ECC?
Oracle.
Any data? Right. Oracle or SQL or IBM DB2. These are the common databases. So, but remember that Oracle is the most widely used because there are a lot of functionalities which are compatible with Oracle.
Okay.
Likewise, the next best would be IBM DB2. Then we have the Microsoft SQL. That Microsoft SQL is only for test environments or for any dummy systems, not for a real environment. So that is how it is. Now let's say the data is falling into the Oracle database. So will it fall into the database, or will there be any specific tables into which it falls?
Yeah, there has to be some tables.
Okay, fine. So there will be some specific tables. Okay, fine. So let's say I have created 10 purchase orders. Can I go into the table and see the purchase orders today?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah. Let's say we are creating a 10 purchase orders today using the transactions and navigations as I have just shown you. And what my point is, can I go to the table and view all the 10 purchase orders created for today? Is it possible?
With the graphical user interface, I think database should be accessible.
Yeah, obviously it's possible.
Yeah.
Right. So let's see that we do have an option to view the table, and I can give the table name. For each area you have separate tables. I have one document which is covering all the tables at one glance. Let's say in purchasing you have this EKKO as one of the table, which is covering the purchasing header information. So you give the EKKO display, and that shows us the purchasing document header. Go to the contents. Here you can see the output. So all the purchase order informations are captured in the backend table. So now, and as you said, we can do a small retrieval of this data as well. We can access the database and see the data. Okay, but this table, as you see, they are having a lot of fields. Okay, now when an end user wants to see some data, is he interested in a couple of fields or all the fields?
couple of fields.
as per his requirement, right?
Yeah.
What? So if I tell the end user just go to the table and see the purchase orders and take the information from there, it is too technical and user will get confused out of so many fields what to choose and how to view the data. That is where the need for a report has come up. So in this application there are pre-delivered reports. So you need not do anything. You can just give the pre-delivered reports to the users. So let's say I have one of the pre-delivered reports for stocks for vendor. So they give the vendor number, they give the range, and they execute it. So you get an output that okay, so what is the vendor number, location, vendor name, and the plant, material, quantity, all this information. So now what is happened? How come this output come up? It is nothing but backend some kind of a logic has been written in which goes to the table, fetches only these fields from the table and shows on the screen. So
Okay.
this is also accessing the table, but we are not asking the user to access it. The SAP has given a standard in a report wherein backend it has written the coding so that it goes and fetches the data, right?
Okay.
Okay, so fine. This is how the user can see, open the report and view the data. Okay. Now the point is, we have two sets of reports: operational report and analytical report. Are you aware of the difference between both?
No.
Okay, can you just brief on what there is the difference?
I said no.
No, no. Okay. I said,
Yeah.
I thought I am aware. No, it's a basic understanding. Operational analytical reports. So maybe Bala, if you could just.
Yeah, operational reports perform on operational systems
Okay.
wherein no analytical system is in place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean to say on runtime data
Mm-hmm.
or runtime business data, the operational reporting is performed.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the analytical reporting, it is an extraction of analytical operational data
Mm-hmm.
per se, and on which complete analysis of data is performed.
Okay. So let me put it in this way. So when a company they are switching into ERP tool SAP and they start capturing all their transactions within this tool. So they require a lot of reports, right? So we have two kinds of reports. Operational report is nothing but day-to-day analysis. So as I was saying, so we have operational and analytical reports. So let's say I am from a warehouse team, and we do have an officer and manager over there. So the officer in the warehouse team, his task is to keep a track of what is the stock level of each of the products. If anything is falling behind stock, he has to ensure that he has places an order and gets it from the vendor. So for that, does the officer needs to run a report for last 2 years, or is it only for current week, current month, like that? It's only for the current time period, right? So for that, it is nothing but a day-to-day analysis or a current time period. So it will support the business operations. That kind of reports we call as operational reports. Okay, and operational report, the user after opening the report, they don't do a lot of navigations, drill down or filtering in the output. They just open the report and close it. They see the information, like let's say as we are saying the current stock, the report output which the user gets, it will be mentioned material wise stock and all that. Some kind of details will be there. If they see that it's falling below some threshold level, we just goes ahead and places the order. That's how it is. Now, in the same warehousing team, we do have a manager whose responsibility is to analyze over the data for 1 or 2 years, and based on that make a conclusion as to what is the most sold material and which material is not being sold at all. A lot of other analysis the manager needs to be done. So in order to fulfill his requirement, the analysis will happen for a longer time duration, maybe last 6 months data or 1 month data, and the output is not the one which they just see and close. From there they do a lot of drill down and navigations and ad hoc analysis. So that is basically the difference between operational and analytical reports and the various different target users. So in the ERP system, it's capable to run both operational and analytical reports. I can provide the user with operational reports as well as analytical reports. Okay, operational reports, there is no hiccups at all. The ECC system is fine enough for fulfilling all the operational reports requirements. The main problem comes when we start using it for analytical reports. The reason why the problems come up, first and foremost, is the output is looking like this. So is this output presentation friendly? Is this output comfortable for, imagine yourself as an end user, you are running this output, and is it comfortable for doing the analysis? So it's not comfortable. Imagine you are running for 1 or 2 years of data. So much of data will be there, you have to scroll down and do, and this output, if it would have been in some Excel, it would be easy for analysis. So these are the drawbacks. Output is not drawback on not using analytical reports. Output not presentation friendly. It is not comfortable for ad hoc analysis. Like mostly the output would be a static output. The set of rows and columns will be fixed. But as an analytical user, you have to do a lot of ad hoc analysis. Maybe here you may want to see plant wise stock or a material wise stock or vendor wise information. Lot of ad hoc analysis you can do with the available fields. For that, it's not that flexible to do all that kind of ad hoc analysis. You can't change the rows and columns and filtering, sorting, all that is not that flexible. So that is what we say, not comfortable for ad hoc analysis. And performance impact on ECC system. Imagine I have hundreds of end users and I have given the report to all of them. So if everyone runs the report and they are fetching the data for 1 year, 2 years, and obviously this data will be fetched from the table itself. So there would be a lot of pressure on the ECC system, or a lot of resources will be consumed when so many users will parallelly execute the analytical reports. But this system is mainly meant for capturing transactions. And when I am capturing transaction also, the data is falling into the table. When I am running a report also, it is retrieving the data from the table. So obviously there will be some kind of a locking issue, some kind of friction will happen. So either your transactions will get slow or your reporting will get slow, which is affordable. Transactions getting slow or reporting getting slow, which will not have an impact on the business. Is any answers on that? Is it okay if the transactions get slow when we give access to so many users and they run the analytical reports in ECC?
No, it's not.
Transactions are happening at the counter. So if because of reports running at the back end, the transactions run slow, there will be a huge queue at the counter and people will get restless. So indirectly your business is getting slow. Likewise, the same thing happens in the real world as well. All your business is running slow, then what is the point in analyzing the data? So to avoid this, either the performance will be impacted as well as the transactions can get slow. So to avoid this, you need to ensure that there is a So that is why we have a need for a separate reporting tool or a and BW is mainly meant as a solution for analytical report. Okay, so though it is possible to do the analytical reporting on the ECC side, but still because of these drawbacks we need a separate system, and that is when the companies switch over to BW. So ideally, when a company is moving to SAP ECC newly from their old applications, at that moment you don't have BW. First they move into ECC, slowly module by module they do the implementations. Once everything works fine, the users are getting used to this application, then after a couple of months they have a trust, everyone start using this, you have a lot of data, then the analytical report requirements start coming up, and that is when this kind of shortcomings will be coming into picture. So though users may bear with it for a short duration, they may be using these analytical reports in ECC, but over a period of time, once the data volume increases, their reporting needs increases, then that is when need for a separate tool comes up. That is where SAP BW will be coming up into picture. So is BW a separate system, or is it a same within an ECC system? What do you think about it?
It's a separate system.
Right. So just like ECC had a presentation, application and database, even BW will also have its 3 layers. So obviously, just because I have purchased a BW software and I have installed it, I can't straight away run my reports in BW. So obviously all my data is in ECC, right? So let's say a user wants to analyze the purchasing data in BW. What we will, as a BW, what will happen is we have to extract the data from ECC into BW. That data will be raw data, and will that data fulfill all the report requirements straight away, or do we need to modify the data, transform it, or process the data? What do you say? Straight away, will that data which we are extracting, will it fulfill all the reporting needs?
It may not fulfill. Some sort of transformation is required.
Right. So each report, there may be some business logics which by which some fields are derived, some fields are coming like that. So obviously I have to get all the data into BW, then I process it as per my requirement, and once I have the data for all the fields in BW, then I can build the reports. Now user wants to analyze sales data, then also the process will be the same. So finance data also is the same. So this is a simple step which as a BW within which happens within BW. You extract the data from the source, that is the ECC, into BW. You have to process it and build reports. Okay. So now, how exactly a BW project requirement starts? So we have a certain understanding that okay, due to this performance impacts and other things, we may be switching over to BW. But once they take a decision, okay, let's do our reporting in BW. What happens is a senior BW team, a project manager or a project lead, they go to the client, they take all the requirements. So when they take the requirement, what happens is, you have users already aware of the shortcomings, what they are unable to achieve in the ECC system. So when you go to them, the senior team goes to them, they straight away give the report samples like this. They give us some Excel sheets wherein some fields are there. So they say that okay, I need so and so reports, these we were unable to get in ECC. Like in either way they would give you the report. So as a user, you can't ask a lot of functional stuff or technical stuff to the end user, because he may be just a user, he needs a report, he doesn't know what functionally how the business is happening in the backend. So you will also have a functional business process owner in when the requirement gathering takes place. that to that person we is whom we you discuss and take all the understandings, like okay, how the transactions happen, what T codes they use, what is the data flow for the transactions, everything we get an understanding. So as a BW consultant, what your duty would be once you get this report sample. So your duty next would be to identify certain things. What is the business area? So by looking into the report fields on the left hand side, does it look like a sales report or a finance report? Finance area. What can you get the details? Does look like a sales report, right? Some sold to party is nothing but you have sold some goods to a customer. It is called as a sold to party. You have sold some materials, you want some report. So can I say that this data which user wants to look, it is sales data? Is it safe enough to say like that?
Yes.
Okay. So like that, you try to understand what next is, what are the fields. Okay, you make a list of all the fields which user wants. They maybe want to select filter based on some country or some month. So you make a note of all that, what fields they want, what filters they want and all that. And then this data will be obviously coming from some tables. So obviously you have to note down the tables from where it comes. So as the senior team is going for requirement gathering, they do have worked on a lot of projects, so they have the table names on their fingertips. So they say that okay, this table, this data coming from so and so table. If they do have some issue, we also take along the functional consultant with us. So the functional SAP functional consultant who have initially done the configuration on our ECC side earlier. So now next task is to identify a data source. This is a new terminology which we are coming across now. So what we need to try to understand, why we need a data source, why can't we get from a table. Okay, so the point is, we have a drawback on ECC that you are running the reports against the table, transactions are happening against the table, then it may lead to performance impact. Now let's say you have set up a new BW system separately. You are trying to extract data. Now also the same issue comes up. You are extracting from the table. Transactions are happening against the table. So obviously what's the use in having a separate system? Again, it may lead to a performance impact. So that is why does it lead to performance impact is, when you are running an extraction, it has to go to the table. From there it has to make a decision of what fields to choose, what 40-50 fields it has to choose. So going to the table, identifying the fields, then retrieving the data, obviously that will lead to burden on the system. So that is why they have come up with the terminology called data source. So they say that don't extract directly from the table. Let's use a data source. So what does data source actually means? It's kind of a structure and a logic. So structure means a set of fields. Let's say I need 40 fields for my report from the sales tables. So my structure will have the 40 fields and a logic to extract those 40 fields from the table. So via a data source, I am indirectly extracting the data from the table. I am not directly accessing the table. So you need not build the data source. SAP, just like lot of things they have given as standard, right? They have also given the data source as standard. So you may have to just identify the standard data sources. Okay, let's see. We have a transaction wherein we can look into for the standard data sources. So let me just open the transaction. It is called as RSA5, wherein you can see all the standard data sources. Okay, let me just open it again. Okay, so here under SAP R3, under lot of areas you have finance, purchasing, sales. So let's get into sales. Now as we just discussed, we are getting some sales area. I will put across some sales tables list over here. Okay, let's say user is what data user wants, that is nothing but billing data from the sales area, and that table I have identified as VBRK. Though what all fields they have given in the Excel sheet, it's coming from the VBRK. Okay. So now my task is, upon identifying the table, I have to identify a data source. So just please have a look on the left hand side for where we have standard data sources and try to identify, is there any standard data source for this billing header. Just have a look. Able to locate. You can see over here, right? 12IS 13 VDHDR billing document header data. So corresponding to this table, SAP has given us a data source. So what does data source mean? It's a structure and a logic. That's what we discussed, right? So it does have a structure which contains a lot of fields, and there is this inbuilt logic to extract this. So were you able to understand all these four steps over here, or any confusion?
It is clear.
Okay, and so it's simple, right? Like you should understand the need for a data source and how to identify it. It's very simple. Now let's say if I want the source are item table of billing, so you do have a item data source. So that is how it is, and this is how you identify the data source. Okay, so these are the basic steps which we have to do once a report requirement comes up. So once we have an understanding of all this, we have to design the data flow for it, because in the data flow what happens is you have a modeling step, ETL step, and a reporting step. So though reporting is your main goal as a BW system, you can't straight away do the reporting. You have to model the flow, you have to extract the data. ETL means extraction, transformation, loading. So you have to do that, and finally you can do the report. Let's see the modeling part, right? Each one. So I have one slide over here. This slide concludes what we have discussed until now. Some transactions are happening in the ECC side. It's falling into some database tables, and there is some standard data source given by SAP. So this covers the ECC side. Now when I am getting the data on BW side from this via this data source, do I need a similar structure to hold the data in BW, or not required?
Yes.
Similar structure, right? Okay.
Yes.
So let's say we are transferring water from one side to another side. Obviously I need a similar water bottle of same capacity on either sides, otherwise there is a loss of water, right? So here also, in order to not miss any data, I need a similar structure of data source on BW side as well. So how do I get that? I don't create the data source in BW, neither did I create in ECC. I used a standard one. Likewise, what I do is I replicate the data source in BW. It's a small activity on the BW side system, wherein we just log in and type one transaction code to replicate. So we do have one transaction code, RSDS. So here I just give the data source name 13 underscore or 11 underscore VAHDR, then give the system name, and then click on replicate. Okay, that's it. So once I click on replicate, just it will connect back to that system and fetch the data source structure from there. So exact copy will be captured into the BW side. So now as a part of modeling, in a simple terminology, when you are modeling a flow, you need a head and a tail, right? You need everything. You need a source and a target. So likewise, you have taken care of your source by replicating the data source from ECC. You need a target. How do you build the target? What all fields would you include within your target? What all are required in the Excel sheet, right, as per given by the user, or what all are needed in the report output, right? All those fields I include into the target. That target in BW, we call it as a cube. info cube. We do have other targets as well. This has a multi-dimensional architecture based on star schema, so that's why it's most widely used to as it improves the reporting performance. That's the reason why you come across cube mostly. So I do build my cube with and with all the fields I need in the report. Okay, so we don't have a concept of fields in BW. We have something called as an info object. So let's say I have 10 fields in this table. I have to create 10 info objects in BW. That's that one thing you have to. So without creating an info object, is it possible to create a cube? What do you say? It's not possible, right? I need a in field, then only I can build some structure out of it, right? I need an info object, then only I can build a target out of it. Is that right? Okay. So you have replicated your data source, you have created your info objects, and after that you built your cube. So you can see over here, I have written down the steps, same steps over here. Now the next part comes as ETL, extraction, transformation, and loading. So what would you do? Would you extract the data and apply the logics on the fly and then load it to the target, or you put it into a temporary staging area first, then process it later on? Which is the best approach according to you?
First, having a temporary storage.
Okay, and okay, it looks fine, that's the correct answer, but why not directly loading it to the target on the fly?
Requirements will be dynamic, maybe dynamic. So every time you will load the data, and that will be quite a task.
Right. So your approach is right way only. So the main reason is, what happens is, as we discussed, we need to process the data, right? Straight away, the data is not suitable for our reporting. So if you are doing everything on the fly, all the business logics and mappings, derivations, everything is happening on the fly. So you are extracting the data from ECC, you are connecting to ECC for longer duration, and you are waiting until all the mappings, derivations, logics are through and data is loaded. So the amount of time connected to ECC is longer. Imagine so many areas extractions we are doing. Again, that will also lead to a burden on the ECC. You are connected to it for longer time for your extractions. Again, transactions will take a hit. So that is one thing. And imagine, let's say you are doing everything. There is some junk value, maybe some due to a manual typing error, some information came wrong in the source. But due to that, your business logics are not working. Your load will fail. So again, you have to rectify it and reload the entire data until you fix that. So to avoid all that, it's better to put it into a staging area, raw data. Staging area will have raw data. So you are connected to source system for a shorter duration. Just quickly extract the data and disconnect from it. You are no longer dependent on it. And then you process the data within BW. So that is what will happen, and that is the reason for having it. And let's say even while processing, if you face any data related issues, you need not worry, you need not go back to ECC. You can reprocess the data from the staging area multiple times. And let's say even if you successfully loaded data, a couple of days someone by mistake deleted also, you can reprocess it again. So there are a lot of advantages we have. And just in case any junk data comes up, there is a possibility to cleanse the data within the staging area. Maybe you can make it manual correction for 1 or 2 documents also. So these are the reasons why we do use a staging area. Okay. So in ETL, as we discussed, extraction, transformation, loading. So we do the extraction via a tool called as info package within BW. So it's a very simple thing within BW which is happening. So I just log into the initial screen of BW, and then I do simply right click create an info package. and then click on schedule start. That's it. All the connections are already established, so it fetches the data and puts into the staging area. So just remember that you use some kind of an extractor, which is nothing but a info package which connects to source system and extract data and puts it into a staging area. So that completes the extraction part. Now next is the transformation part. So what exactly we mean by transformation? Without linking source to target, can I push the data for further? Is it possible? It's not possible, right? So we can just see the transformation part, and it's nothing but you are linking your source to the target. And within that linking, what exactly happens is, as I said, you have fields and info objects, right? In the source you have a field, in cube you created info objects. So you are specifying by the mapping saying that this field goes to so and so info object, like that. All these mappings, and as we said, some derivations, right? So you don't often get all the time dimensions from the source. You may have to derive it, so that you are doing some business logics may be written, that also will be there. So this is the place where any business logics or any customization happens for BW. It happens via the ABAP language. So as a BW consultant, it is not mandatory for you to learn ABAP. Over a period of time, maybe couple of years, you can gain the knowledge, because in each project you will be associated with a ABAPer mostly, and your task would be to sit with the ABAPer, share them the requirement and make them understand what is your business logic, and get the code done, test it for scenarios together with the ABAP. Okay, so this is what is meant by transformation. Linking the source to target, mapping and business logics. And what is your next goal then? You have already linked it. So the next goal would be to send it to the target, right? So I have to again push the data from the staging area to the target. That staging area, I forgot to say that we call it as a PSA, persistent staging area. It's a temporary storage area. Okay, so we can call it as a PSA. So from PSA I have to send it to the cube. So I trigger something called as a DTP. When I trigger it, all the data is taken from here and it is updated to the target, and all the logics and mappings are applied. The transformed data will fall into the target. Now all the data you have, your goal is to design the reports. So you have a tool for designing reports, that is nothing but a Bex query designer. Okay, so just the name suggests as a query designer. Don't get confused that some kind of an SQL query you need to write, nothing like that. It's just a basic query designer. It's just a drag and drop tool. Basically you have all the fields in the target. You drag and drop as per the user requirement, whatever he wants. You get a preview over here, it should meet the requirement, and the user may navigate to a lot of extra fields later on. So all those extra fields you put it into the free characteristics. This is how you design the query using the query designer. Now the next task is, this is where your BW task stops. Now it's up to the management how they want to view the reports. Okay, so once they execute the report via the Bex analyzer, it goes to the cube, fetches the data as what all are required and shows over here. Now you have entire data, you have all the fields. So this BW system is not for transaction, it's purely for reporting. So users can play around with the data. They can drag and drop, filter it, sort it, change the rows and columns. All the flexibility user will be having. And it's not impacting your ECC transactions as well. So that is how the BW is solving the purpose. And you do have end users or senior management who are not interested in line by line, record by record. They may are interested in some figures, some designs. So maybe for them, we may have some on the same query, the output they will be viewing it instead of Bex Analyzer, they would be viewing it in the business objects, wherein some kind of a dashboards or pie charts will be seen. So it's up to the management. Query designer is our task later on, whether they use it in the Bex Analyzer or they set up a BO team to run to design BO reports, or they may have a web analyzer as well. Bex Analyzer means it's a back-end offline installation in each system. If users are always moving, you can't install it in each system. So maybe you can give a web link for this report. User logs into the portal and see. So that's how the reporting is fulfilled. So as per our discussion today, we try to understand what is ECC, what is SAP, why reporting, analytical reporting drawbacks are there, what is the purpose of BW, what exactly, how the requirement comes, what exactly you are doing for the data flow.